Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Miner. This weekly no-fluff mindset show arms you with the practical tools you need to get unstuck so you can get exactly what you want out of life. Remember, when you change your mind, your life will follow. Let's get into today's episode. Hey there, friends. Thank you so much for joining me on this very special episode of the Unstuck Podcast. Special? Well, why? I think a lot of you, if you are listening to this remotely close to when it airs, probably know why. It is a very interesting, potentially scary, fear-based, unknown time for a lot of us in the world. And things seem to be changing minute by minute. We don't really know what to expect. We definitely don't know what the future brings. And it's brought an opportunity, I will call it, for us to get really in touch with our mindset practice, with who we are, how we want to feel, how we want to think. And so I kind of scratched the episode I was planning to have for you today that will be coming next Tuesday. And instead I'm breaking in, it's like 5 p.m. on Monday. This comes out Tuesday a.m. So very little turnaround time here. There will be very little editing. So I apologize in advance, but I do want to get this out to you because like I said, this is a really pivotal moment for us where we have the opportunity to try to see things a little bit differently. And I do want to say that with the caveat. And actually, first, let me go back, because if you are not listening to this remotely close to when it airs, then you may not know what I'm talking about. And this episode is in relationship to the developments of the coronavirus, specifically here in the US. Things have happened, just progressed very rapidly, I would say, even over the past week. And we're now in a place where most things are closed. Most people are working from home. Most kids aren't going to school. Universities are closed at this point for us here in Boulder. We're even only allowed a certain amount of people in the grocery stores. Everything is shutting down. And I know even now cities are mandating kind of a shut-in type process and really only going out in public for the absolute very, very essential things like prescription medications and food. We're in this very interesting time and in a place where we've never been for many of us. And it happened so rapidly. Like last week at this time, this wasn't even something, it was in the very, very, very back of my mind, like 99% sure this wasn't going to get where it is. And now here we are. So it is very rapid. And I think that is, of course, bringing up a lot of emotion. And I think we've seen it. We're seeing it every day, everywhere. If you're anywhere on social media, you're seeing it. If you go to the stores, you're seeing it, because you can't get toilet paper. You can't get hand sanitizer. You can't get hand soap. You can't get dish soap. You can't get Kleenex. These things, we had a mass panic, and I completely can understand it to a degree, because again, we've never been here and we don't know what to expect. We don't know what's going to happen. It's scary. Are we going to get really sick? Are our loved ones going to get really sick? Are we going to be shut in for months at a time? Just things that we don't know. And so, yes, when that happens, we know that stress comes from uncertainty. Stress comes from thinking a thought that is either in the past or the future and not the present moment. So that's kind of what happened. We're trying to figure out the future. We're scared for the future. And so we panic and we stress. We get fearful, all the emotions. So that's where we are right now. And I know in different parts of the world, there are various stages of this as I'm learning. And so you might be in a different spot right now. But I think what we're going to talk about today goes for any time of what I'm calling darkness. And we really want to try, I think, to find the light in the darkness, because going through darkness without light makes it a lot harder. a lot more challenging, a lot more stressful, a lot more emotional, and a lot more damaging to your physical body, but also to your emotional body, your spiritual body, your energetic body. And we talk about all those things here so much. We know how much they all matter. So I think it is a really good practice to be able to find light in these times. Now, back to that caveat. I do want to acknowledge that this is a scary time. It's also a time of a lot of uncertainty and stress, like I said, but it's very real. You don't know how you are going to pay your bills if you are someone whose business has been affected by this, or who isn't getting work because the business you work at has been closed, or you don't know how you're going to be able to keep things running while working at home, or you don't know what to do with your kids who are now out of school for who knows how long. There's just questions, like endless amount of questions. And so I do want to make sure you all know that in what I am saying today and in the tools and tips I'm giving you today, in no way am I saying that your emotions right now aren't valid or reasonable. So I want to make that clear from the get-go now. So again, remember, we're just shining the light in a way and talking about some of those. One of the things I want to talk about right now is gratitude. I personally have been going to gratitude a lot this week already, and I've noticed such a big difference because of that. And I can actually say it's such a weird feeling to me right now. I actually just got done meditating for the second time today, which, little side note tip, if you have time at home now more than usual, meditate. Just meditate. Just sit down or lay down, quiet your mind. You can do a guided meditation. You can do a music meditation. You can do a silent meditation. I highly recommend Insight Timer. I think most of you know that by now. Tons of free meditations that can help you in this time, but use this time wisely and meditate, do other stress relieving things. Now I'm just going off on a tangent of this tip that I didn't even plan to talk about. I think you guys have seen so many tips on how to use this time to care for yourself and to care for your family and to find the fun. I think there's a lot of that going around. So hopefully you are doing that. But I do just want to bring it back to it's this weird thing that I'm feeling right now, which is like I almost feel more peace and calm than on a regular day in my regular life. And I think it is partly because I do have more time at home to spend on my mindset and my mindset practice and my energy, but also because of that immense gratitude and appreciation that I am just walking around every moment of every day with right now. So again, another tip that just apparently how this is going to go is as I talk, random tips are just going to come out for you. Another tip is there is always something, like probably at least 100 things, but there's always at least one thing, no doubt for sure, that you can be thankful and grateful for in every single moment, even if it is a point where you just got all your hours cut at work because you have to be closed. Your store has to be closed and you don't know when you're going to get more hours back, and that's really going to cut into your paycheck. I know that that's very stressful, but what can you find that you're grateful for? Are you grateful for your family, the roof over your head? Are you grateful that your boss is going to try to make up some of those hours for you when you do open back up? Are you grateful for the fresh air, for being able to get outside, for nature, for your yoga practice? There's something. There's always something. And the more that you can get into that place of feeling incredible gratitude, even in these really intense times that things seem to be dwindling to be grateful for, you still have so much to be grateful for, even if it doesn't seem like it. So just try that. Just see what you can do. Just every single time you start going to that place of darkness, and we'll talk more about what that is, then see if you can get back out of it. See if you can find the light. Now let's go into that. What do I mean by finding the light in a dark time? Now, as I said, this goes for any dark time. Let's see what we can do to not make it so dark. First, what does finding the light mean? To me, it means being able to recognize that there is still good, even amidst the chaos and fear. So that goes back to the gratitude a little bit, I think, but also just being very, very open to looking for the good. Even just if you are at the store and you have to wait in this very long line to check out with all your goods that you need for the next couple of weeks. This was me literally this morning. I ended up having a really nice conversation with the lady in line in front of me. She actually offered to have me go ahead of her because I only had a few things and she had a bunch. And I was like, nope, I got nowhere to be. This is great. No problem. And we ended up having a really nice conversation. That was a good thing. This was good. And really, honestly, everyone in the store was really patient and friendly and nice. And we all are in this together. And I think we're all getting that. And it felt really good. So that is actually something I think that really comes out of these dark places is we all know how to be a community. And we know how to do that very well. I think we forget quite often how to do that when we get into our regular day-to-day life and we have to go from here to there to there to there and you have to do this for work and that for work and work overtime and work all these hours and never be home and we never get to see our kids. Now is the opposite. And now we also have the opportunity to feel that opposite and to be grateful and find the good in that opposite, but also see how that impacts us as humanity. How that impacts our vibration, our energy when we do have to all come together, when we are all in this together, we are all in the same boat. It brings us back down to realize that that's how it is in all of life. We are all one. We are all one energy, and doing this all together, we don't have to separate ourselves. We don't have to go through things on our own. And I think that's a really beautiful thing to see come together in these moments. But anyway, again, tangent. The next one. Finding the light also means letting go of trying to predict what's going to happen and relaxing into the unknown. We are spending lots of time trying to understand what this is going to do, how this is going to impact our lives and our businesses and our financial situation and our kids' education. What is this going to be like? What is happening? Even your health, potentially, if you are someone who is worried about getting the coronavirus and not being able to fight it. These are all fears, but they are all fears of the unknown. You don't know what is going to happen, which brings me to another point in that understanding that really, truly, all we have is the present moment. I've talked about that before. You can go back to the episode, Be Happy Now. I think that would be a really wonderful episode to listen to in this time, episode 8, I believe. But we don't know. We don't know what the future will bring. We don't know anything beyond this second right here. And then right here. And then right here. So you spending your precious energy trying to predict what's going to happen, try to make sense of what's going to happen when you don't know, is just wasting that valuable, precious energy and taking it away from you and your energy center and putting it into unknown territory. So what do? We relax into the unknown. We really try as best as we can to be as comfortable as we can in the uncomfortable, because the unknown is uncomfortable. We all feel that. But how can you relax into that? And really, my only tip for that, which I think I'm going to be talking about a lot more here, is to just find the good, find the joy in that moment. Make the best of each moment. Be grateful, do fun things, find new things to do with your time that you enjoy. Spend this time with your kids in ways that are really fun for you too. Make the best of the moment because all you know right now is this moment right now. So spend your energy there. The next one, finding the light, means believing that everything will be okay. Not even, I guess what I want to say is knowing that everything will be okay and truly believing it. Because everything will be okay. Everything is always okay. We may not be able to see that right now. We may not be able to see that in a week. We may not be able to see that in a month, but everything is going to be okay. And we just have to have the faith to know that. We have to have the faith that it is going to work out. And we're going to talk about this later. There's also a lesson here. This is why it's happening. There's a lesson here for us as a globe, not just you necessarily, although you will probably learn something from this experience too. You'll probably learn a ton of things about yourself, but also all of humanity is learning something from this, which is really important. Next, what does finding the light mean? It means always looking for your best feeling thought. And this goes all the way back to that emotional frequency scale from episode 3 in how to raise your vibration. Not only is it important to raise your vibration for yourself, and we know that here as Unstuck podcast listeners, we know that that is kind of really the ultimate goal in life, is to keep a high vibration, because that is how we continue to have high vibration experiences or positive experiences. It comes back to our vibration. Vibrations are created based on our emotion, and emotions happen because of our thoughts. So what can you think, and this goes back to when you're starting to get into that darkness, when you're starting to feel thoughts of fear, anxiety, stress, anger, sadness, frustration, annoyance, any sort of negativity, these negative emotions. When you're starting to go there, and keep in mind, stress is a negative emotion, or it's caused by negative emotion. So when you start going there, what can you do to dig yourself back out just a little bit? And you don't have to physically do anything, although like I said, I recommend meditation, I recommend journaling, gratitude, all these things. But you could even just find a thought that's just a little bit better. Like instead of, oh my God, am I ever going to get my job back? Am I ever going to be able to go work again? My business is totally going to fail. Can you get to a point where instead, it's something more along the lines of, man, I'm really disappointed I had to close my business, or I'm not getting the hours I am anymore, but I know it'll all work out. It's just something where it's just a little bit of a shift. And you can see, just in me saying those things, how different that feels, how different that will feel if you have those thoughts. So keep that in mind. The next one, what does finding the light mean? It means recognizing that the present is still all that we have. I went over that one before, and I'll say it again. Just do everything you can to stay in each moment. Like right now, I know this. Right now, I know this. Right now, I know this. Anytime you start veering off into past and specifically future, quite a bit now, we're really in the future, come back to the present. And the last one, what does finding the light mean? It means being of service to yourself, your loved ones, your community, and your world. Being of service raises our vibration, absolutely, but it also brings us together as a community and a collective, like I mentioned. And this is really the time to do that when we have others that are in need. Yes, you probably need some love too. So now is your time to be of service to yourself, to find out what you really truly need, but also your loved ones, especially if there are some loved ones out there that should not be going out, should not be getting groceries, should be staying at home if they are highly susceptible to getting this virus and having it be pretty damaging. Be of service to them, be of service to everyone there, even your kids. This is really a weird and interesting time for them too. They may be saying, oh, cool, I don't have to be in school right now. This is great. But really, there are some underlying fear and other emotions there that I think you need to explore with them and to help them understand. So be there for them. Your community and your world, there are people that are in desperate need right now. And I think it is important to help those people if you can, whether that's through time, financial help, even offering to watch someone's kids if they have to work from home and they don't know how to handle their kids and working from home and they just need a little bit of a break to get something done. You can do that. You can make some meals. You can give some canned goods to somebody that's running out, or even some toilet paper to somebody that's running out, which is me, and cannot find any. So yeah, there are opportunities. There's just tons of opportunity to be of service right now in any means that you can. And the cool thing about that is know that being of service is just a cycle. So you will get that back 10 times over. So being of service is so immensely beneficial for our community and ourselves and our loved ones, but it also raises your vibration so you get more of the same. So, hey, double win-win, always be giving because it works out well for everybody. All right, the last thing I want to go through quickly is just answering the question, why do bad things happen? Why do these tragic things happen? I mentioned earlier about there being a lesson here, and as hard as it is to see and as much as it sucks, we need to remember and know that sometimes it takes one of these big and what we see as tragic events to help us learn something, to help us learn something as our own selves, but also the community and the world. Just everybody has something to learn from this. And it may not be something that we see right now. And it may not even, to be honest, be something that you ever see in your lifetime. But there is still a lesson here. And this is how it had to happen for that lesson to be learned. And it could be something like, I have examples. I always think of the example of 9/11, which was quite possibly, it's definitely the most tragic thing that has ever happened in my 39 years here. But I think a lot of you can also agree with that. And it just was the most unthinkable, scary, like I will never forget. Again, I think a lot of you can relate, seeing what was unfolding on the TV. And some of you may have even been close to it. It was such an awful thing. But now here we are 19 years later. It still was horrific and tragic and unthinkable. But I do think most of us, even people that lost loved ones, can look back and see some good that came out of it. For instance, we now have way better security measures that honestly probably should have been in place well before 9/11. And it took that experience, it took that situation to open our eyes to what needed to be done and what was really something that we should have already had in place, most likely, to protect ourselves, our nation, our world. And now we are much more protected from terrorism. I also saw this, I think back to the floods. We had very, very, very bad floods here in Boulder back in 2013. That was actually what caused me to initially get mold illness, was living in a basement of a house that had flooded in these floods. It was so destructive. There was so much loss. People lost their homes, lost their businesses, our beautiful terrain that we have here in Boulder, which if you have been, you know what I'm talking about. It was so badly damaged. It was just awful. Like just so much destruction from, well, it was originally just supposed to be a rainstorm, which we don't have here that often. It wasn't predicted to be that bad. And it turned into like a heavy downpour for days. And it caused multiple creeks to flood and mudslides, XYZ. Anyway, now that we are here and we are now, let's see, it's almost 7 years out, everything for the most part has been built back up and even better than before. Everything is growing back in. They've fixed all of the trails. They've gotten everyone to be rehomed. And everything now is good and even better because now we are prepared for the next time. They went through an entire process to build infrastructure so that when there is a heavy rain, there's somewhere for the water to go that will not cause any damage. So there is now never going to be this issue again. It has been resolved, and it was something that, could have been put into place without there having to be this tragic thing. But we needed that thing in order to create this new system that is now going to be really a life-saving thing for so many people in the future. And in both of these cases, and even in this coronavirus case now, like I said, we can all agree at how beautiful it is to see everyone come together, how humanity can really, truly come together in these times of uncertainty. It's amazing. It's amazing to see. It's a wonderful thing to see. And I think just that in itself is a lesson there because, like I said, we can get very wrapped up in our own lives and not reach out to our community and really embrace each other. And that really happens in these moments. And I think these things, as they happen, it just builds that system up more and more and more in us until maybe that's just how we'll be all the time, which would be pretty amazing for sure. Okay, let's wrap it up with this. I just want to give you one quick journaling practice that I think would really benefit some of you right now. If you are feeling worried or stressed or fearful or just even kind of like displaced, just kind of icky, like there's something weird because you're out of your routine, you're not going into work and seeing all your friends as usual, you're stuck at home, your kids are starting to wear on your nerves, whatever it is, if you're not feeling 100% positive right now, which let's be honest, that's all of us, I have a journaling practice for you to do. First thing, obviously get out your journal. You are going to write down your worry or worries. Write down anything that doesn't feel good right now. Like what is going on in your head that feels off, that's not feeling really great. And it can pertain to coronavirus situation or it can just be anything. Write this down. Now, once you get all of that down, it can be one sentence, it can be a page. Just get it down. What is on your mind that is not feeling great right now? After that, I want you to write down this sentence. How can I calm my mind around this? Okay, write that down. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Open your eyes back up and truly ask yourself, like the depths of you, that question. How can I calm my mind around this right now? You can also ask yourself, what other way can I feel about this? And again, write that down and then write down what comes up for you. And then the last piece, can I change it, remove it, or accept it fully? Those are your choices. Change it, remove it, or accept it fully. I think a lot of us right now are going to be in that acceptance phase of you can't change what's going on in the world right now. You can do small things to maybe help, and that would be wonderful, but changing it is not going to happen. Removing it, not going to happen. Accepting it fully, hey, that can happen. That can happen, and it's going to be really nice there. So give that a try. Again, quick journaling practice. How first write down your worry or worries. Then how can I calm my mind around this? What other ways can I feel about this? Can I change it, remove it, or accept it fully? That is your homework for today. And I do want to let you guys know, again, I mentioned it last episode, the Unstuck Collective is open. We are taking members for this mindset membership community. Honestly, it feels weird to me right now to be trying to quote unquote sell anything, but I do want you to know that it is available. There are women coming in there right now every day. We are building a community there, a group of like-minded women who want to remain high vibe and positive and feeling good and feeling strong there. And I think, I put this over on my Instagram story and I wrote this in the group that the universe led me to create this membership community, and it led me to launch it or to open it on Friday the 13th, which was the day that really kind of things started escalating quickly with this. It happened for a reason. It happened because we need this now more than ever. We need community now more than ever. We need people who get us and understand us and can help us and to provide the resources to get us back up where we want to be and to even provide actual resources if we need help. And I didn't understand why I was being called to create this community so quickly. It was like normally I would have taken a few more months to get all of this organized and together. And I just felt this push to get it out there as a resource for you. And now I know why, because we need it. So I do not want to push it or sell it or anything like that, but I do want you to know that it is there for you. I am there for you. We are there for you, your high vibe besties. We're going to do this together. We're going to get through the next weeks and months of repercussions from this together. And we'll do it all while having fun, while finding joy, while getting to know each other better. And it's going to be like a lifesaver, I know for me, for sure, especially since I can't see anybody right now. And I know you all are in the same boat. I've got my partner and myself and our dog and cat, and that's all basically. So it's going to be nice to have a community and to be able to actually get on a video and chat with you all. So that is available to you, shawnminer.com/collective, if that is something that feels good for you and you have the means to make that happen. If you want to be a part of it and you do not have the means to make that happen, if you have been affected by this situation, the coronavirus situation, please reach out to me and let me know, and we can work something out so you can be a part of that and get the support that you need in this time. And I should mention, the first thing we're going to do, one of the very first things we're going to do is create a way for us to give back to the community in any way that we can. We'll be starting kind of a charity type drive to get something going to help those that have been affected by this situation. So if you've been looking for ways to support and give back and help out, we'll be doing it over there. We'll be organizing it all, and it will be really cool to do again as a collective. Things are so much better done in groups. All right. Anyway, that's enough from me for today. I hope this has helped a little bit for you. I hope you can bring about a little bit more presence and mindfulness and time and joy. And I know some of that is going to be tough, but do what you can. Just do what you can, and just be aware. It's again all about that awareness, and we will get through this. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help, and we will resume our regularly scheduled podcast episodes as of Friday. Just to let you know, these are pre-recorded, so as things progress out in the world, if it seems like I'm not mentioning things, that's why. But they're really great episodes. You're really going to enjoy them. But they've been pre-recorded before any of this happened, so I won't be speaking directly to events that have happened recently. All right, everyone, stay safe, stay home so that others can be safe too. And till next time, take care.